Good evening, everyone. My name's Liz, I'm from Battersea Arts Centre, and this is Reuben, and this is Sammy. And we'd love to have shown you some pictures, some photographs tonight, but we're not able to, unfortunately, because the project we're going to tell you about is a completely new project that we've never done before. And so we're going to be asking you to use your imagination and take a leap of faith, if you can possibly do that for us. So, Battersea Arts Centre wants to forge a relationship with young people aged 15 to 29 from Winstanley Estate, which is the estate just down the road, and it's one of the most deprived areas in the country. As Jenny was saying, it's an extremely hard time for young people. There's over 1 million young people unemployed at the moment, and for many, the future is looking quite bleak. But the agency is the name of our scheme. And the aim of it is to support young people from Winstanley to develop their own ideas into social enterprises which benefit the residents of their estate. Through the scheme, we'll give young people the tools, the support and the networks which they need in order to assume an active role within their community. Over 8 months, we'll work with 20 15 to 29-year-olds through a series of creative workshops and discussions. These young people will be paid a grant to enable them to attend. The creative process starts by asking them what their idea is for change. They'll go on to map their own area and examine the territory they live in. For 3 months, they'll work with facilitators to build their idea, their repertoire, their networks and their plan. Once they have a plan, they'll need to get support from the local community, and they'll need to gather 100 signatures to prove that the idea is needed and wanted. They then present to a panel of experts who select the projects which are most likely to succeed. These ideas progress to the next stage, which involves them turning their plan into a real project and crucially connecting with local people, businesses, politicians, artists, funders, to ensure that their project has the best chance of success. £4,000 will fully fund one of these successful projects. It will provide the young people with a fee for their time as well as funds to make the project happen. 100% of the funds that we make this evening will go straight to the young people and their idea. So we've taken our inspiration from Brazil, where this scheme has been successfully transforming communities for the last 2 years in Rio. In Rio, the project's been run with over 1,000 young people, and the projects that they've done there have been inspirational. I was lucky enough to go to Brazil myself and see some of the projects in action. I met a 19-year-old woman called Maria who had set up a salon where young women could go and get their hair braided and their nails done and meet other young women who'd been affected by domestic abuse, and they could talk to each other and get advice. I met a young man called Bruno who had set up a project which was encouraging the local residents to tidy up the favela, to collect rubbish, exchange it for plant pots which they could put in their front yards to make the area look pretty. So they were tidying up, recycling and making the area look nicer all at the same time. There was another young chap who was sick of the favelas being associated with Bali funky rap music only, and he persuaded older members of the community to teach jazz instruments to the younger members of the community, and a jazz band formed.
Hi, my name's Reuben. I'm 17 years old and I live in and around the area. I grew up around here all my life. I've been involved in BAC for 8 years, and I'm still here after all this time because I feel encouraged, supported and appreciated here. Everyone's opinions are taken into account and I'm free to express myself. There are no right or wrong answers. And at BAC, the responses to my ideas are often, yeah, okay, let's do it. No one's ideas are ruled out, and that's why I still come. And it's fun here as well. I've been involved in lots of different projects at BAC over the years. At first performing and beatboxing, then assisting on workshops, and now as a young director on this project. My role is to feed local ideas and opinions into the planning stages of this project as a local young person. I feel this project is a brilliant opportunity for those young people out there who might have had similar experiences to me. I didn't get on too well in school, as I didn't feel it was helping me get what I needed out of life. School made me feel boxed in. We were all being given the same thing. There was nothing that tailored to everyone's different and individual needs. Nothing which was going to help me find myself. School didn't feel relevant to my life, and gave me the feeling that my future wasn't really going to be that interesting. I personally really want to be involved in this project because it's a brilliant chance for me to better my life. It would give me something to live for, something to look forward to, something to wake up in the morning, and that's what everyone wants. This project is a chance for me to have my opinions heard, it's a chance for me to be listened to, and a chance to show what I can do without being given up on before I've even tried.
Hi, my name is Alfred, I'm 20 years old. When BSE told me about this project, I immediately wanted to be involved, 100%. The reason being, I thought it's really disheartening to think of a future in which I can only have to end up in a job that I don't enjoy doing just to make ends meet. I've seen my family do this before me and I don't want the same life. I've sacrificed my involvement in theatre and other interests because it just doesn't pay the bills. I've had to focus on just getting enough money together to support me and my daughter. This project gives me hope that there is possibilities out there. I am hopeful that there are opportunities which can combine work and the things which I believe in and I am passionate about. The fact that I can be paid to create something that's my own, that's a win-win situation. This project will enable me to experiment with my life choices and to figure out what I'm actually capable of. Not only will the end products the young people create be something to be proud of within the community, but what's especially exciting for me is to sit there and watch my local community build relationships with each other.
You might wonder why it's important for Battersea Arts Centre to do this. The young people that I met in Brazil had an idea and they learned how to negotiate it, to defend it, to link it up with different networks and present it. That's what we do here at BAC every day, but just to slightly different ends at the moment. We have a very specific way of making theatre here, a process which helps people to think ideas through, to test them out, to throw ideas out that don't work, and to hold on to the ideas that do work, and hold on to them and refine them. And we want to use these same principles that we apply to making theatre here every day, but instead use them to create, instead of using them to create theatre, to use them to help people become active citizens and agents of change within their community. Thank you very much.
Brilliant, thank you. So we're going to open the floor now to any questions anyone might have. Are there any questions to kick us off? And there's a roaming mic at the back. Just put your hand up if you've got a question. There's one here. It's coming to you. You can shout.
I was switched on. It's on. Hello, hello. I was interested to hear you panel of experts, because in my experience this sort of thing kind of flies in the face of having a panel of experts. So perhaps you can tell us a little bit about who your experts are going to be.
Yeah, certainly. We're not quite sure yet who the panel of experts are going to be, but in Brazil, and I imagine we'll do the same, the panel of experts were people who may go on to fund those projects in the future. It was artists, think tanks, local politicians, sort of older people who had experience, business people and people like that. And the panel of experts, more than to be a way for the adults to decide what ideas get carried out, was more of a process so they could get used to using a language which would help them to present their ideas to other people in the future. And was a way for people who had a lot of experience to give them some really, really thorough feedback. The ideas that don't get through, that aren't successful at that point, have the opportunity to go back the year after, so they've got more time to rework those ideas and make sure they are robust. So it's not like they're completely thrown out there, they're just going back into the re-incubation period so they can continue to be supported until they are at a stage where they might be able to be carried out.
Can I just say something to add to that, please? Is that okay? We're also open for anybody here, or if you know anybody that are experts, if they want to come and get involved, bring some skills to the table, we're absolutely open to time. That's the most important thing that we want to give to these people.
There's a question over there.
Thank you. I was just wondering, you said £4,000. Could you just be a bit specific about what £4,000 would get? And if we achieve more, would that be useful? And what is the total budget that you're seeking for this project?
So the pilot year is going to happen first, and for the pilot year, we've got £75,000 of funding already, which maybe sounds like a lot, but it's not. It isn't that much. It's been split between here and Manchester, where they're also testing out the project, and that £75,000 is going to go on all the support networks and the management costs. And the £4,000 is what we think, taking advice from Brazil, is what will fully support one project, and the people who are working on it to sort of fund themselves a little bit. It kind of depends what the project ideas are, to be honest. We think we could give more, we could give less, deciding, depending on what the scope of the project is actually. But from Brazil they said £4,000 was what they thought it would take in equivalent terms over here.
Hello. I don't know if this is working or not. How are you going to judge success or failure? And how long will it go on?
Yeah, interesting question. The dream is that we will be able to secure enough support and funding for this to go on for quite a while. What we'd like to do is a pilot year this year, test out the real thing with a bigger group next year, and with various other communities around the UK as well. We think the project works best if it's cyclical, so that the people whose ideas don't get through the first time, they've got a chance to continue it the next year or the year after that. What was the other part? I think there was another. Oh yeah, I've got 30 seconds. How will we decide whether it's success or failure? I think one of the things that they did in Brazil, which we thought was exciting, was they interviewed and did lots of documentation of the process. So the young people at the beginning, including the young directors who were part of the planning process, did lots of interviews at the beginning. And one of the things which was quite interesting, which they tested, was how the young people were spending the grants that they were given. And at first, the young people were spending some of the grants on trainers and other things like that, and as the months went by, their spending patterns changed, so they were actually spending it on research materials and books and things like that. Okay. Yeah. I don't know, I'm going to have to think about that a bit more, and I'll come back to you, because we've run out of time. Thank you. Thank you.